What's going on, everybody? James Collins here, CPWE.AI, and Greg Hyatt, Big X Media. Chris Stevens, he's a little frozen back there, but he's my business partner with CPWE.AI. Can you hear me okay, Greg?
I can hear you.
Good deal. Welcome. And Chris, you may have to refresh your screen. All right,
No,
you're
I
back,
don't.
bro.
I had gotten a phone call, so having this on and that call on was really weird.
Understood. Well, tonight we're going to talk about CPWE.biz. And obviously, as we've mentioned many times before, as a company, as a business owner myself, I have chose Greg and Big X Media as my website administration. We're going on half a decade at least, and I'm continuing to do so. So he's going to be propagating that website, and we're going to talk about the product, the offering, and the services that we're going to be promoting. So those are going to be on our software development side, our website not administration, server administration. So I'd love to hear on that side too, Greg. I know this is out of left field, but you and I, uh, you host my website through your hosting company. So I'm guessing, I don't know, so I don't want to speak out of turn, but I'm guessing that you also have server abilities for VPSs as well.
Now we can do VPSs, we can do dedicated, private, however you want to configure them. Obviously, when you start getting into VPSs and dedicated, your price goes up a little bit. Our baseline for mid range runs about $110 a year. As where some you go out there and do some investigating for like Vulture type or even AWS, some of those. I mean, some of those are getting up $50, $60 a month. So we're offering the same kind of hosting, a little bit cheaper. Of course, all of ours are on light speed servers. If anybody's familiar with that. And of course, you can install almost anything that you want onto your rack. Whether you want to do a custom WordPress install, whether you want to do Docker, whether you want to do Ruby on Rails, it's a wide open space. Just whatever your needs are. That side, CPWE.biz. Of course, it correlates with CPWE. Go for it, Chris.
I something happened and my volume has dropped so far I can't hear it, so I'm gonna have to leave and come back in. I have a question about the VPS.
Yeah, I do too, Greg. I know that we got to offline most of that conversation, but I think let's start with the best you got, not the mid range and the higher level, higher end, because what we plan to do with this is uh, we're going to make it available for people at a very, very, very high rate of availability and some pretty powerful tools on the other end. Go ahead and take it for just a second while I go find Chris and let him back in.
So again, get back in there. CPWE.biz correlates with CPWE.AI, where we're trying to bring people a host of some of the coolest and advanced AI tools available in one subscription. So you're not having to subscription yourself to death. As y'all know, anybody that's ever played with AI for any length of time, that's real easy to do very quickly. So that's the whole goal. For me, for what I'm doing on the CPW.biz side, is just to help promote the product. But I do want to encourage people to go over to bigxmedia.net, go to our menu item says hot topics, a whole host of articles in there stressing the importance of both AI and AEO and how they both are going to play a vital role in SEO moving forward. Because for folks that aren't familiar, AEO or Ask Engine Optimization or Answer Engine Optimization, however you want to call it. So if you've ever used anything like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, a host of others, and typed in a question and had it search the web, well, the whole AEO is how it populates within those or your large language model. So moving forward, people are, in fact, I look for Google and Bing search to quickly become a thing of the past. Probably, if I had to guess, within the next year, 2 years tops. Just because as right now, people are at about 25-30% of all searches are done using one version or another of an LLM. So, ChatGPT, whoever, Claude, again, just a whole host of them.
So I'll recap what Greg just said. For SEO, AEO, and what is called Ask Engine Optimization, some even call it AI engine optimization. In the old days, it might be just someone who was updating your website and holding a maintenance fee to keep doing that monthly. What you're trying to do now, though, is bring that back to human voice. Uh, Rich snippets, things like that, they're different in the new way of searching because, as Greg just mentioned, so many are searching with their phones and using their voices. Voice search is different. So CPWE.AI specializes in making sure that you're optimized for voice search. And then CPWE.BIZ is making sure that you're optimized for doing larger scale automations. And excuse me for a second.
So, yeah, jumping into some of the automatizations as businesses begin to grow. And here's the whole thing. So many business owners out there have already started hearing more and more about AI and trying to figure out how they're going to incorporate it to their daily operations. What you need to understand, you can't come to somebody and say, hey, I've heard about AI and I want you to automate my business or a good portion of it. To even begin that process, Chris can speak more to this. You got to have something that's important to even begin that. It's called data. Without data, you can't build anything. You got to have something to structure around to even begin to build out whatever kind of automations you're needing. So, I mean, yeah, you create some cool little tools like a chat bot for a website, this, that, and the other. But if you want to get in down deep and build a intricate knowledge base, maybe for your staff members or training materials, that requires you have data. Now, the cool thing is, though, inside of CPWE AI, you got one tool that's called, help me with it, James, your expert agent. Is that correct?
Super agent.
Super agents that you can get in there and begin plucking their brains and start pulling some things together. Store that because the way I choose to do it is I got a whole, probably, I don't know, 8,000 articles I've written. And I've taken all those articles, upload them for the AI to see or my super agent, then saying, hey, I want you to construct something of this title, but it's pulling all that data from what I've already provided it in another format. So, in essence, it's about taking what you already have, mixing it up a little bit, and letting the AI tool or super agent help restructure that, refine it into something that's more presentable, whether that be to a team member, whether you have a membership website where you're offering different services. I mean, there's a whole variety of things you can do with that in aiding growing your business. But again,
Saves so much time, doesn't it? Wow, the time.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
mhm.
Sure.
Okay. What was happening? Oh, I don't like that. What was happening was it wasn't coming out my speakerphone, it was coming out the earpiece. And I was like,
Oh, okay.
why is that so low? Well, that's why. Um, but you had
Understood.
talked about, yeah, that was ridiculous to try to troubleshoot that. You had talked about the first thing you need is data. I think the first thing you need is an idea of what you want to automate. As a matter of fact, me and a potential client who owns or runs a nonprofit for rare diseases, she had asked me, "Well, what about this?" And I said, "Hold on, before we go any further, I'm not gonna you know shoot you a price off the cuff or anything like that. We need a statement of work. What do you want this device? What do you want this product to do? You can give me general terms, and I can ask the questions to drill down to it. But you got to have a general idea. The data we can figure out, the agents we can figure out. We've got the super agent, we've got Zapier, we've got N8N, we've got FlowWise, uh, we've got just a metric, and we can build anything. Um, but that initial idea, just like uh, when James got that call right before you got on, Greg, uh, and the guy said, "Well, what can you do for me?" Whoa, whoa, Bubba, what do you want done? We can do everything. You know?
It's kind of like people that come to me and say, I need a website. That's nice. What do you expect out of your website?
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. That's a good starting point. But now let's talk about, not in the weeds, but a little bit more specific. You know?
Yeah, what do you need it to do? What's its specific functionality? I mean, is this a straight brochure site? Is this going to be something that involves the exchange of money via you're selling online items, whether it be physical or digital? Are
Hmm.
you running any kind of online membership areas where people are required to sign in? The passing of bank information. I mean, you really got to drill down and know, just like you said, don't come to me and say, hey, I want to do this. Know what you need the expected outcome to be.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not saying don't come to us with it. Come to us with whatever you have, but be prepared because we got to ask the questions. Um,
Exactly. I mean, it's
and
no
and I'm
different, going
100%
car
sure that
shopping.
and I'm 100% sure that James is gonna. It was your uncle, you said, right?
Yeah, my uncle
Yeah.
Robert. I
So
bet he's listening right now. That's who
yeah,
called us.
I'm 100% sure that he's gonna ask all the questions to drill down to get to the meat of what is what at least what outcome they want. You know.
Well, he's our perfect customer. He really is. He's got a business startup, a partnership. It sounded like it was very on the technical side and needed some clarity on how to build processes around softwares and things. And
Sure.
maybe it's drilling into the business of making sure data is flying and calculating at the same time and speeding processes up, manual
Hmm.
processes, things like that. For business startups at the very smallest level of time savings, you're getting big returns because you're able to focus on those things that make you more money and not on those mundane tasks like advertisings and building copy for a website and answering these three knuckleheads questions. But we're going to have a bunch of them, not in a
Oh,
bad way. But that's
Greg,
go ahead, Chris, take
I
on.
was excuse me. I was going to ask about the VPSs.
Hmm.
Um, can you put together something that has about 12 cores and 64 gigs of RAM?
Hmm.
How much would I be looking at a month, roughly?
Hang on a second. Let me go dig it out here real quick. Whoop. Bear with me
Looking for
here. With
about
my,
a terabyte of hard drive space, uh, and I want it to run Docker.
hmm
And we're talking a cyber secure. For those that are just tuning in to what we offer in this, Chris and I have talked about it before, but we'll recap. Go ahead, Chris. Your one product,
Well,
one offer, one fee, and
well,
cyber secure and compliant.
the number that Greg is about to give me is not going to be for everybody. That's for a development server um, that probably has more horsepower than I need.
Yeah. Hit me with your specs again, real quick, Chris.
About 12 cores, 64 gigs of RAM, terabyte of hard drive space. But what I had talked about, and I think this is the way to go. When we get a client, I want to spin them up their own VPS, and we'll run Docker on it, and we'll have their own automation server, which is the N8N, their own database, which will be probably Postgres, their own large language model hosted locally. So you know that when, and we'll be using Olama for that. They've got access to all kinds of large language models that we can pull down and run locally on that VPS. So every client has their own. They're not sharing resources. They're not. You're not accessing something like ChatGPT or DeepSeek or Claude or whoever through an API and sending your company's data out to you don't know who. This is all. When I say local, it's not local. It's not in my office, but it's a local. It's a self-contained unit. So your data stays on your VPS.
And here's where I
And
come in. That means you can blanket that with cybersecurity.
yep,
That means you can write a policy around it because you know how your data is moving. For
that means that
anybody
you're.
that that's important to,
That
foot
means that you
south.
can be FIPS compliant because you know the path your data is taking,
Right.
and NIST and all the ISOs and all of that. But also, what it means is you will have one monthly maintenance fee. So let's say that, and I'm just throwing general numbers out there. Let's say you had your setup fee was $5,000 and your maintenance fee was $500 a month. If you want another automation project done, you have just the setup fee, no extra maintenance fee. And I said it on Sunday, and it's the God's honest truth. I do not know of another place that is offering that type of self-containment with no usage limits, no usage fees. That's important because if you let's say that you start a business and okay, we're getting 25 processes a month, and your business scales, and now you're getting 2,500 with anyone else. As your usage goes up, your maintenance fee will go up. Not with us. That monthly maintenance fee covers everything.
That
And
reminds me of a story that I heard today from Alex Ramosi. He said that he had a software development agency, just like us, who was helping his company grow to multiple six and then seven figures. And they started seeing how much money he was making and their fees were going up. That's what Chris is saying. That's the reason I interrupted. He's saying that's not going to happen.
yeah, absolutely not. Because number one, we're not trying to be greedy. Because I firmly believe that if you are consistent and transparent, money will come. But
Sure.
but number two, nothing burns my ass more than thinking that something is one price, and then the company's like, oh yeah, it is, but then you got to pay for usage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what the hell is this other payment for then? You know.
Mm.
So with our idea, and I think it's solid. I know it can work. I just have to get my stupid computer to work right. Um, I know it works. I've seen it work. Um, it's not. I'm not reinventing the wheel. We're not trying to discover fire. This is. I just got to get it put together right. It is like a jigsaw puzzle, um, but with this, everything is self-contained. So data security, not a problem. Patient information, if you're in the medical field, not a problem because you're not transmitting everything over an HL7 link or an NHL link. Um, you're not, you want to ask sensitive information to your chatbot, that's fine. Ask whatever you want, because it's not going out to OpenAI, to their massive servers to get cataloged. It's not going to Anthropic. It's not going to DeepSeek servers, because all of those are the AI models that we have are downloaded, running on your own VPS.
This is what everybody wants, folks. And this is it. This is what everybody wants.
Chris,
And
pull up the private chat real quick and take look at that link.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me
yeah,
go
it really is.
here.
But there's, when it comes to data security and data transmission, let me talk to you again from a cybersecurity hat. What you need to know is the word negligence. When it comes to negligence, and let's talk about like ransomware insurance, your point of restoration of your data and how much you get into an insurance claim is going to revolve around that word negligence. And I'm not an insurance agent, but I'll say this: if you do what we're talking about, I was cybersecurity, and Chris is a server administrator who knows medical inside out, and I know federal inside out. And Greg, I mean, Greg's just,
I also know federal.
I know you know everything, man. You
Gee,
sound,
oh, okay.
you're way smarter than me.
Oh, I don't believe that for a split second.
Yeah, you are. You got a brain, man. I like it though. It's pretty killer. Your idea generator.
Okay, yeah, that I can do.
That thing is it's powerhouse.
God, I
You're
wish I had my glasses in here. Holy crap.
so Greg, on the server side, you were looking that up for him, and we were just kind of chatting. Did you find what you were looking for?
Well,
Well,
I
what?
did. I can't get as high on my personal that I offer on my packages. So
Okay.
what I done is I just sent him a link to who I resell through, because that
Mhm.
particular company is who I use as a reseller. They are rock solid and take care of business.
Man,
The
your
only
word is gold to me, so I trust you.
and so, all right, y'all tell me what you think. This is in the weeds technical, so if everybody else wants to tune out for just a second, that's fine. 32. God, it seems like I'm talking loud. 32 gigs of RAM, 10 cores. Everything else looks fine. Do y'all think? Now I know that the automation server doesn't take just a ton of hardware or horsepower,
Mm.
but I want to run Olama and Bolt.diy in Docker. So what I want to have is Docker, obviously, and then N8N, which Docker, all of these are Docker images that I can pull and run. N8N, either Bolt.diy or Auto.dev. Auto, Auto.dev is one of the two. It's the same thing, but one's a fork of the other. Um, Olama with probably DeepSeek 3 sitting on the, what is it, the 14 billion parameter model, and Llama 3.2. I want to have both of those available because I think Llama is actually better uh, than DeepSeek for just general chatting. But I think DeepSeek is better for coding. Um, and then I want to have a Postgres database because apparently that's a thing. And then I want to have FlowWise. Again, all of these have Docker images that I can pull, but do we think that 32 gigs of RAM would be enough horsepower to make that? Now, for a client, 32 gigs is going to be plenty, I'm sure. And if it's not, we can probably cluster them. But do we think that 32 gigs of RAM would be enough for a development server?
Personally, I don't want to say no, because if that's the best we got right now, let's roll with it. And I bet you the ability to upgrade happens whenever you take a couple steps with what you got. That's my personal opinion. I don't think it's enough ultimately. And I am kind of a buy nice, buy twice, buy once, cry once type of person.
Yeah. Well, but this isn't buy once, cry once. This is buy every month, cry every month.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, and that's absolutely going to be our
because
ticket in my
honestly, the other, because right now my little N8N dev server is sitting on Hostinger. Just the the 400 gigs of NVMe, 16 gigs of RAM, and 8 cores. But there's another company that I've been looking at. They're called Enter something or other. I can tell you in a second. Let's see. AI, go all the way down, and they are called interserver.net. And they have, up to 16 cores and 64 gigs of RAM, but it's also double this price.
Well, you don't have to run everything on one server.
Well,
So
that sounds hateful as hell, James.
I know.
You,
But
you, you
true.
know, you know what we could do, and I thought about this last night too, because that's what I do instead of sleeping.
Yeah.
We could have a dedicated LLM server that has all the horsepower,
Now you're talking.
and then yeah,
Into the mind of a server engineer.
yeah, damn it.
I know there's a lot to it, brother. That's the reason why I'm a programmer.
Yeah, so if we had and we would have to have two of them actually, one for dev, one for production, or I guess one for test, one for production.
Sure.
If we're using technical terms. Uh,
Greg, you're pretty good at setting up those test beds. So I don't doubt we'll have a good dev environment that you, me, and Greg can access quite easily for a good price.
yeah,
I
but
think
if we
we'll
had
be
it for production though, if we had one starting off with one, hopefully we'd get enough clients where we'd need multiple. But if we had
I just want
one,
one good one. I want
do
my
what?
I just want my Uncle Robert. All I need
Yeah.
is one client, just one.
Um. So if we had the one
At the
high
end of the
horsepower,
day, if you want to go that route without having to worry about upping the game as things grow and expand, that's easy to manage. And I'll shoot myself forever letting this roll out of my mouth, but it's just a
Come
fact.
on.
It's going to be AWS.
Oh,
I don't like that.
I don't like it either, but it's fact.
I know it's
Uh,
the corporate model.
Yeah, well, I
We're
mean,
trying to break
all of our
corporate.
servers are in AWS,
We are trying to
and
break
they're
corporate
fine.
down
I
into a service based offering. We're
yeah,
breaking
oh
down.
yeah, they do need to. Where is this company? Do you know where their data centers
Who?
are?
Who?
Name Hero.
Yeah, their primary servers are, all the servers are here in America. The primary, the
Okay, all
company
right.
itself is based in Montana.
Okay. Because, and this is important. I I would be willing to bet that if any state or federal entities or contractors wanted us to get them set up, that's like Hostinger is in Lithuania.
Mhm.
They gonna have a problem with that.
I would too.
Um,
And I'm sure that there's virtualization options where you can pull a virtualized image onto a local server and then call back through a proxy server or something for cybersecurity. But
well, I mean, could you? Yeah, but what I'm saying though is the reason. I already said what I'm saying. The reason that I said it, I guess, is especially right now with geopolitical with the geopolitical climate being so, what's the correct way to phrase that, in flux. What's to say that somebody doesn't shoot out a tweet from the White House at 4 o'clock in the morning saying something ridiculous, and then they get pissed off and shut down all of the traffic coming from the US? You know what I mean? Not saying that I think they would do that, but I'm saying that it could happen.
so our vision here, let's break it down into what we're really doing with this server. We're getting to a point to where we're taking the corporate model and breaking it into a service model. And we're able now to provide a service of providing you a server that issues out the abilities that you need for managing and updating processes to coding to just a business management unfair freaking advantage is what it is.
The business terminology is hardware as or metal as a service, which is
Mm,
the server that we're talking about, and then from us, software as a service,
right.
or AI as a service. I've seen it either way.
We've got all of that. And then you got right there in the middle, Big X Media, you got hosting as a service.
Hmm.
But we're in one location. You got the whole team of decision makers right here in one place to
Yep.
be able to build, manage, scale, and a dream business.
And let's be very clear on this. This is a layered system. This is a stack, which
It
is
is.
which is what James works with, which is what I work with, which is what Greg works with every day, all day long. Um, and I can tell you from my 15 years of experience in the section that I'm in, doing this every day, it is a pain in the ass when you have to call multiple people because you got to call this person to help fix this, and then you got to call this person because this other part is messed up, and then you got to call this person to finally get to the root of the problem. I've done it. It sucks. I would much rather be able to IM or email or call one person or even text one person or one, not one person, that's wrong, one entity, and get the answers that I need or want or fix the problem that I have.
Yeah,
That's what
because
you got.
speed is an issue. And in our now world of AI, speed is an issue. The ability to produce content at alarming rates of, to try to think about. These guys that are professionals are putting out 50 pieces a week, um, and more. And if you're going to stay in the competitive advantage with artificial intelligence, you need the backing of a tool set like we offer. We have the backbone of keeping up and managing all of that data infrastructure, including a CRM, 5 terabytes of vault space, and multiple tools that are watching your data. You have
5 terabytes is a ton.
it is. It
People
really
hear
is.
5 and they're like, oh, only 5. You ain't never got. You know what? I have got a 3 terabyte external hard drive and a 2 terabyte external hard drive, and I have about 1% used on each of them.
Right.
And I'm talking
Depends what you
audio
do.
files and what's that?
Depends what you do. I mean, if you With
Well,
people
yeah.
becoming big video, you start doing a lot of 4 and 8K.
Well, okay,
You,
yeah.
you can feel hard. I mean, I got 15 external terabyte. Close. It's close. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to get another one.
but
Professional
4K and
video
8K video is
production.
about the only way. You're not going to do it filling up MP3s or you
No,
know,
no, yeah,
or shooting text to a database or anything like that.
no.
But
Music,
what's your
you can't listen to that much music. 15 terabytes. I mean, I'm 59 years old. I haven't listened to that much music my entire life.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm a musician, and I have not played that much music. As a matter
so
of fact,
how do you scale content for a business? Like say you're a new company, you're just talking about it and you got pretty well your business plan in order, everything's ready. Now you're ready to hit the ground running and you need people like us. What do you scale media content creation, um, 1 to 10? Like, how do you scale a business? Do you do it by providing value and content, or what's a different way other than that?
The ability to not only build and create, but the ability to scale as the business grows and to be able to grow with them without having to hand it off, say, someone else say, well, sorry, you've outgrown this and you're going to have to find somebody different to take this over. No, that should never be the case. You should be able to start a customer and take them on until one of two things happen. Either you, as the business owner, decides to part ways because they're no longer a good fit for the business, or vice versa. But other than that, there should never be an issue about that we, you, whomever cannot handle the scalability of a company. Then
now you're
you start talking about somebody like the Googles and things like that, companies of that dimension. That's a horse of a whole different color. But for the average American
mhm.
everyday based business, you should be able to flex and scale with their needs and grow with them.
You're talking about the ITIL life cycle, which is ITIL is the IT information or IT infrastructure library. It's kind of like IT project management, and I am ITIL certified, by the way. Not that anybody cares about that, but me.
I'm software configuration management certified. That's one of my unknown certifications, and I'm pretty
Take
into
that private chat again there, Chris. I threw up another option that might be more along the lines, if for no other reason, that you're only going to pay for what you use.
Oh no, I don't like
And
that. I don't like the pay as you go because I'll get to using it, and then wind up
they got
losing track.
fixed they got fixed rates, but I'm saying no, is you're never going to be overbilled.
Oh yeah, yeah, I see. Okay, what do we got?
Yeah, Greg, it'd be really cool if we could do metal as a service.
Well, and
Um,
that's one of the options. It's on what I put in the private chat, the last one.
hmm
Well, we would be doing metal as a service
Sure.
when we stand up their VPS. Of course, we would also be a client of whoever that does metal as a service.
Well, here's the sad part. A lot of people don't realize everybody's a client of somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, unless your name is Sergio Brin or whomever, the co-founder of Google.
No, they're. Oh no, Google Fiber can never. Well, damn. Okay. Wow, they really do have everything, don't they?
Hmm.
They didn't start that way though. They started in a one car
They start
garage.
in one car garage. That's right.
I The reason why I said what I said earlier, because obviously I built this tool set not knowing about my Uncle Robert going to call me about 25 minutes ago. But I built this tool set to build and scale, just like we're talking about a business. These tools build and scale with the business. And I built that to automate multiple businesses at the same time. So
So
we're talking,
if
we're,
you had, and I'm using this as a worst case scenario, James. If you had to pick a customer up, because
huh,
I've never done Docker myself, don't know anything about it.
yeah.
But if you had to pick someone up, you've already configured everything. It's like, man, They've truly outgrown us. We can't scale with them, and you had to move them to a different platform that could. How easy would that transition be, or could it even be done?
In my case,
Because it's like me
that
picking up a 300-page website with all kinds of customer databases, everything else, e-commerce information, banking, and being able to migrate it from one host to another host or even to a different server because they need more volume.
the Phoenix
Mm-mm-mm.
servers that we currently use for our tools will build and scale and will not have that problem.
Now, if you're talking about what I'm talking about on their own VPS, it would be simple. We would just build a cluster for them, and I'm sure any of these can do clustered servers. Uh, we would do a probably a 3-node cluster, so two two primaries and a failover, and then have the company migrate it over.
Well, yeah, because it's just like when I pick up a whole C panel that might have 8 or 9 websites on it and migrate the whole C panel
Yep.
over to an entirely new server rack.
Hmm.
Same thing.
Yeah, and since it's all VMs, and by the way, Docker is just a series of VMs.
That's all it
That's
is.
all it is. It's Docker is more like. Are you familiar with JavaScript at all?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Docker is like a beefier version of JavaScript. It takes a how would you describe it? It's a container, but it's a uniformed environment,
Yeah, I
and
was about to
you
say
can
my belly's hurting because Docker's awesome. Let's just
yeah.
start there. So
So
it's a
Docker
uniform
Docker's
environment.
for JavaScript, like WordPress is for PHP.
Sure. I mean, you
Yeah.
need Docker container for JavaScript because something has to contain for cybersecurity. JavaScript is terrible.
Mm,
So you gotta be on top of these things and know about data because in
slap a
my
little
opinion, I
MySQL in
had
there, and
if I had one customer, back to what I was saying earlier, the reason why I said that about my Uncle Robert is because if I had one good customer that kept me busy, that's all I would want. That way I could secure their data at the level that it needs to be secure. And it's not just
That'd have
him.
to be one hell of a monthly maintenance fee.
It would have to be a hell of a monthly maintenance fee, but I have a feeling that that could happen. It's just a matter of did did we sell it? Did we?
Well, and like I said, I mean, dude, for real, we can build anything, especially with the setup that I'm looking at. Oh my goodness.
Let's talk about the first value as your time savings of having everything in one place. All your tools, all your management for your processes and paperwork, your configuration management plans from software to your documentation management plans, all living in the same place. Your customer acquisition, your lead retention, all the way through your business processes, whether you're wanting data to go from one place to another and be calculated and sent to a Google Sheet and then emailed. These things that
so
we
take
laid
it
out, we can do it.
take it from somebody who was a big Monday.com user
Mm-hmm.
and Zapier,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start integrating automations through them from a website. But then you like using some of the cool AI tools. Like me, I'm a big Gemini and Claude person. Okay, so now you got all these little boxes of where you're bouncing around in, as where with the tools offered here at CPWE.AI, everything is in one dashboard.
One dashboard.
Easy to get
And
to, easily, or very well labeled. You know what you're getting,
you
and
should
even if you
see what
don't,
we're
just search
building.
for it. Get up in the search bar and search for what you need. You'll find the tool.
And we're building the stuff like what Chris was showing yesterday with financial management. I'm doing taxes, local, county, city, permits needed from whether you're a service-based business working in this city or that city, and what county permit you need to be operating out of this and that and all the other things. So I'm building an intuitive dashboard for that, for all the tax reasons and tax write-offs. And all it has to do is just put your name on it as a client of ours. That's what we're saying. Our tools are your tools. And then you can put your name on them. And that's pretty important. And Greg builds, the reason why I've always stuck with Big X Media is when we build local, we build so your data is your data. When it comes to website data, when it comes to um, traffic of customer data, PII data, things like that, the way it comes in, the way it's tracked, the way it's managed, all of that we know is important. That's the reason all of that project management stuff is in one place. And taking that a step further, now your website hosting's in one place with all of this and all of your tools and integrations, and the same people just built the server. You're talking about exactly what is needed for a startup business that needs a very healthy IT system with very little staff and can produce the results that they need. That's what my opinion is what we're talking about with CPWE.biz. That's Chris's effort to bring a client their own virtual private server, put their own tools, their own whole infrastructure virtualized on this virtual private server, whether it's through Docker, whether we use Python, however we do. Um, Really, it would be nice before we developed your product for you if we had your requirements, those types of things. Those are the questions. And what configuration audits do you have? Are you ISO, what is it, ISO 9100 for contracting? Or you, I mean, what kind of, what kind of spreadsheet are you looking at that says, hey, I need these guys to fulfill these different tasks because it's a requirement to have this product? Whatever that spreadsheet is of requirements is what we would love to see, and get some requirements to overlap the software project. And I think it would be a very wise time to get that to me and Chris if you were to so choose us to be your service industry here. Um, that way we could start working on the backbone and some ideas, and with speed in mind. That's just my little pitch there. Greg, it's been 45 minutes to an hour here. 49, 50 minutes.
Ain't nothing but thing for me.
I
So,
respect your time.
real quick, for people that might be using on the Mac or iPad world, it's a free app. Comes pre-installed on with every iOS device called Freeform. I encourage you to get out there and use it if you're trying to map out or lay out your project ideas, creating like a mind map, if you will. Because when you start asking all these questions, you like, then you think of something else, then you think of something else. But you got to have a way to make all this connect that's going to make sense for you as well when you reach out to one of these two fine gentlemen and they can pick up and say, okay, I kind of see what you got, kind of see what direction you want to head in, and probably could create a custom questionnaire for it to help even drill it down more because it's no different when I do for website design. Again, it's about where's your need, not just today, but where do you see your need, say, in 3 years? What level of functionality do you require? How many people might need access to the tool? I mean, there's just all kinds of things you could sit there and dwell about and create a mind map and say, okay, let me put this in front of Chris or James and let's see what they can put together.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with what you just said. You too, Chris?
Yes.
So, Chris, let me introduce the team here. You got Greg in the middle again, bigxmedia.net. Awesome. Schedule call with him. If you want websites hosted at the best prices, then it's local. You own your data. That's important. And you got me and Chris, which is CPWE.AI. That's our actual business name. And Chris also is under that umbrella. He is my business partner, and he's a server administrator, and I'm kind of a just an IT expert and cybersecurity expert. But I also have a degree in computer programming and was a video producer for about 16 years full time. So I have a very interesting um, full grasp on the media creation side as well with our tools. So we have a couple awesome video tools I like to use, and we even have a video editor in there. If you're wondering how to edit video, I mean, again, you have access to the community, so we're right there within. You would get, I would say honestly, if you picked up your phone and called our three phone numbers, you would get one of us. Uh, we're all busy. We all work full time, and we do this full time too, after work. And so we uh, we all have a phone, and we all will answer it and get right back with you. We're kind of a 15 to 30 minute type of company. It takes about that long because sometimes I get into some projects where it's going to be longer during the day until I get a break. Because when you get when you get deep into the electronics and things like I do, it can get real in the weeds, and you
Oh
need to
yeah.
stay focused on that job till it gets done. Somebody get hurt leaving things around with live wires and or maybe not live wires. You would hope everything's locked out, tagged out, but in general terms,
Oh my God, I haven't heard that phrase in so long. Lockout, tag out.
well, just general safety. So I'm
Oh
in one
no,
of
we.
the high focus.
I hadn't heard it since I was in the military. Because we
Yeah,
every time we would do anything, lockout, tag out, lockout, tag out.
I don't know how it happened. I think it was Keith Lee Patterson. Whenever I went to work over there with a good friend of mine, Josh Crane, um, he's the manager, and I got hired on over there as an kind of electrician, um, apprentice salesman, something similar that grew into my job title being network and cybersecurity infrastructure with cloud computing specialist. What a name, huh? So I worked with manufacturing companies all over Arkansas and things like that to develop out ITOT solutions with them. And then I went back to where I'm at now in aerospace, which I was in for a long time before then. And so I'm back on the simulation, and I love that stuff. It's just it fits. I enjoy working. I get to fly every day. I get I get the coolest benefits of all.
So
But
y'all be disappointed if you call me, cause I dream design, I wake up and design, I
yeah,
come home design, I go to bed and design in my head. So if you want to talk about all things web design, SEO, AEO, AI, or just want to share a cup of coffee, give me a call. Won't
that's
be
the good.
disappointed. You might have to tell me to shut up, but you'll learn a lot.
Well, damn, it sounds like y'all need to call one of them.
Well, Chris, speaking of, you need to call Greg this week. That was the point of this call because CPWE.BIZ is what we just talked about, metal as a service, software as a service, and having that maintenance fee and being able to show a potential client some things that would potentially be valuable to them. Um,
Hmm.
how could you help us if they were to ask that question? How could you help us? What would you say? And kind of make the data around that on the website.
Y'all seeing that?
I'm about to share your screen, brother. There you go. Yeah. Hey, you put the audiobook maker. I forgot about that tool. I've used that tool as much as any of my tools. I've written a book, I've published an audio book. I've already upgraded my audio book tool and then published it to Kindle. I did that with my tools in one night. I'm blown away. You can write a book in an hour with my tools. I got a book writer, I got a book researcher. I just put together a bunch of tools and then wrote a book in a night. Hey, sometimes you need to do that with, say, SOPs. You need to pop out a whole group of MSDS sheets for a service, a business, and that you
Come,
need to.
come write an SOP for my boss.
If your boss
You
would
know the
call me
deal.
and ask me to, I would. I would.
I'm actually glad though. I see he's hired on a couple more folks over there to show up in the office to alleviate some pressure that's been much needed in certain areas. So I'm glad to see that. But I'm just like for the longest time, be like, dude, I think he.
He is a mastermind. He is the
But if you can't
like
organize that brain pan and all the things running around in it, all those raging thoughts do you no good.
the mega mind. He has got it going on. Your boss is amazing. So yeah, give me a call, Jason. Let's work out. If you want some cool tools, set you up.
I gotta. I need. We'll talk later, James. Mm, mm, mm,
Mm, mm, mm, mm.
mm, mm.
Okay. So what's up, Greg?
You know, price in China. Uh, maybe the cost of bridges over in Ukraine or Russia. I mean, who knows? I certainly
Greg?
know the cost. Certainly know the cost of their nuclear triad went up.
Yeah, sure as day is day. Go ahead, Chris. What you got? Anything to add?
I got about 12% on my phone. That's about it.
So did you get your questions answered from Greg tonight?
Yeah. I looked at. Oh my god! I looked at that Google Compute. I ain't paying $500 a month.
Do you
That
guys
hurt
have
my.
each
They,
other's phone number?
it
What's
depends on how big you want to go. You don't have to go that big. They should have things on there that start around. I mean, I think the cheapest I've ever seen anything like that's about 100 and a quarter a month.
that's more than I want to pay.
Where are you at price wise? Give me a price.
Man, 40 or 50 at the most.
Hang on a minute. I'm gonna shoot you something. You're not gonna get
Oh,
it.
oh, oh. In InterServe or InterServer or whatever that company is, their databases are, or no, their data centers are in New Jersey.
That's
So if we
good.
chose to go with them, it's still an American company and all that kind of stuff.
That fits
So
what you were talking about, right?
yeah, yeah. So we got Montana with let me get the right name.
And of course, if you scale
Wi-
anything out anyways, and maybe throw some Cloudflare behind it, I mean, you pretty much steer it to wherever you want it.
Sure.
Well, yeah. But with Name Hero, we got Montana. With them, we got New Jersey. So we
We can build a local
yeah,
solution is what that means.
yeah. That's going to make everybody happy. Doesn't matter what level of government they're in.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of
you
folks are all
know,
about that US tag behind it.
yep.
Made here, stored here, produced here.
And I had um, what was the name of that hosting service? It was a big name hosting service, and I can't. It wasn't GoDaddy. It was whatever the hell it was. I don't remember. But I had their hosting and never had a problem with it. They
Monster.
were out of like Russia or somewhere
Oh,
near there.
you're talking about SiteGround.
HostGator.
Yeah, SiteGround. Yeah, and I never had a single problem with them.
SiteGround's good. The only problem is I don't like their annual renewal rates. They
Well,
are a bit pricey.
oh, are
So,
they? Well,
Greg,
I
Mm,
that's another thing that you know what you're getting. Um,
mhm.
that's why I'm really adamant about us staying local because I know what my costs are on my website. I know exactly what I pay in server fees, and that's what it is. And that's helpful to have it local. There is no cog in the wheel or multiple links in the chain, multiple contractors involved and subcontractors involved and bureaucracy. It's
Well, and that's another good selling point. I hate to say selling point, but it is about having each client with their own VPS, maybe hitting a centralized LLM server. I'll concede that one, but we're not we're not going to, and they are not going to run into throughput issues or data usage issues or anything like the token issues. None of it. And like I said, man, if anybody's listening, I am 99% sure that we are the only people that are offering anything like that, where one maintenance fee and unlimited usage. I mean, even the best deals that you can get on any AI uh, subscription fee, it has a usage limit, and after you hit that usage limit, you've got to start adding uh,
got more
more
tokens.
more credits to the account. Yeah, not us, not the way we're doing it.
and then on my side with the white label tools, and you'll see exactly what Chris is talking about because that's the way it's set up. If you build a high definition video, it takes tokens. You'll see exactly how everybody else does it. It's not expensive on ours. You'll see how much cheaper it
Are
is
you using an API for that? It's
for
going to some LLM. You're using an API, I'm assuming.
the everything that is the tools that are white labeled is built exactly like what we're doing. We're just doing it
Well,
locally.
no.
We
What
took
I was
that
getting to,
corporate model and made it a service model.
right? What I was getting to though was, I guess I shouldn't have asked the question. It does use an API, right? It's
Yeah,
got an API call to whatever LLM that it uses, which I'm assuming is probably one of the OpenAI models.
sure.
But I could
There's
I could totally be
deep
wrong.
research,
Um,
deep
do what?
research deep research models in there. The $200 subscription.
Well, if
There's
we have a
all for
dedicated if we have a dedicated LLM server, those can point to that, and
I've got.
then
Did you see
and
custom tools? I made it available.
no, what I'm saying is, if we had our own dedicated LLM server, which we are going to do eventually, we can point those tools to that. So then they have one monthly fee, and they don't have to buy credits either.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Now I've got us up to running 3 LLM servers, but anyway,
Well,
but you
we
see, you see what I'm saying, though.
we're on the same page. See, I built all the AEO, Ask Engine Optimization. That's where Greg and I are really every day almost chatting back and forth about how this SEO, because that's Greg's world. He lives, breathes, and sleeps websites and website design every day, all day and night, most of the time. And he and I have talked multiple times about this. So I specialize in what's called AEO optimization. So I'll do your schema markups and I'll do your few other things that are really what you would call a wireframe.
The
Just
AI specific stuff.
AI specific stuff. So it makes it voice ready for people who are talking into their phones. So that helps. But then Greg does what he does, and it's what I do plus some. So you're getting a full agency here twice over. One's AI and one is now partnered with AI essentially. And everything I do, I've always included Greg. So whether
Well,
you
actually
like
three,
it or
because one is automation.
and automation. So you got it all. You got the triad here. So and that on that, I want to encourage anybody who needs services like these, get a hold of us. And if you are liking this content, please like it on YouTube, Facebook, comment, please. That helps us. It does. I know you've heard that before, but that does help. It really does take an algorithmic turn to get to more people whenever you make a comment.
If you watch it to the end, leave a comment you watch to the end. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. And you know what? If you didn't like it, I don't care either. Hit the thumbs down. Either way, okay? That's important. It does help the algorithm. And if you really liked it or know someone else that might be interested, go a step further and share it.
Amen. Play your intro, Greg. Good night, everybody.